Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis, the rematch. Now, even though a year has passed since they first fought, I really don't feel that either fighter is going to revise much technically. That's because both men have such distinctive styles that are so instilled in them. It's beyond muscle memory. It's just simply part of their identity at this point. Dricus will continue to be this sort of awkward switch hitter who also likes to do his wrestling takedowns. Sean is going to remain that very upright torso striker who likes a sort of mild shoulder roll and very strong straight punches. So the key differences will either be tactics or where both men are at mentally. In terms of tactics, I also don't see Dricus changing much since their first match because in his opinion, he felt he won clearly. So other than picking up the pace just a little bit more or shooting in for more takedowns and really going for a submission on the ground, I don't see much change in how Dricus approaches this fight from a technical and tactical standpoint. Now, on the other hand, I think it behooves Strickland to pick up the pace. I felt in a way he kind of left the fight in the cage a little bit because he didn't pick up the pace earlier on in the fight. And in my opinion, in an MMA fight, a fighter can't afford to so-called give away rounds. You'll see boxers do that over the course of a 12-round fight, but this is 5-minute rounds. You really can't afford to give away the first two. Now, mindset might be the one area that really separates both men. Dricus is walking into the cage with all the momentum behind his back. He's defended his belt more than once. I think he steps in there with a boatload of confidence. Strickland concerns me a little bit in terms of his mindset, mainly because in all the pre-fight interviews, he's really been harping about the cut. If I hadn't gotten the cut, I would have won more decisively. Now, he claims the cut was due to a headbutt. Du Plessis, of course, claims the cut was due to his right hand. But regardless, as a professional fighter, you cannot afford to dwell on a cut. You certainly have to accept that there's going to be blood in a fight. Certainly with small 4-ounce gloves, the opportunity for a cut to occur is even greater than with boxing gloves. Now, Strickland's cut was a smaller cut over his eyebrow, or on his eyebrow, but it certainly wasn't as horrific as the cut that Tim Tszyu incurred on his scalp, nor was it as deep as that gash that Amanda Serrano had on her eyebrow. And yes, while I understand that the blood was flowing into Sean's eye and therefore he was saying he couldn't see, I'm a little bit surprised that somebody with Sean's sort of, bad boy persona is going to start dwelling on the cut and complaining about the not being able to see. Blood is part of the game, so I don't know that it serves him well to really keep mentioning it. Or in fact, to keep thinking about it, because what are you going to do if you get cut again? Once you get a cut, especially on the eyebrow area, there's scar tissue formed there, and that acts like a wedge. So the next time you get hit there, the cut opens up between the scar tissue and the new tissue. So in other words, once you get a cut and you get scar tissue, it's even more likely that same cut will reopen in another fight upon impact. So the main change I hope to see from Sean Strickland is simply I hope he picks the pace up during the first 2 rounds. The question is whether all this to the death is just hyperbole or he's actually got that in his heart. Who do you have in Strickland du Plessis 2?